everyone, Mac and I wanted to do a quick video and introduce ourselves to you. Because even though we maybe have met some of you who are going through these video trainings and online videos, odds are we haven't met many of you, and we wanted to give you a little bit of background on who we are and where we started on our journey, and a little bit of perspective on why we wanted to do these videos for you to begin with.
First thing you need to know is, if you don't know already, is I'm bilingual. That means I speak not English and Spanish, but English and country. And I'm much better at speaking country than I am English. But I'm all right with it. Ria seems to be all right with it. Hope you are. But we speak all over the country. And sometimes we've been as many as 40 states in a single year. Canada, Mexico, Guatemala. We have done a lot of development with a lot of people. We get to meet some amazing people. Maybe you're one of them, but odds are we may not have ever met you. And that's why we decided to do these videos. We had a lot of clients asking us to create some online training content. Just to let you know, you're going to see quotes from all kind of people. Some of them you may not like. Some of them I don't like. But I like what they said in that quote that I shared. They're from all kind of political backgrounds. They're from all kind of religious backgrounds. Some of them aren't religious at all. They're from all different areas of the world. All the quotes are is powerful principles and thoughts to provoke our thought and raise our awareness. So don't worry about really who the quote's from. I always give credit wherever it came from, but it really ain't about the person. It really doesn't even matter about who said it. What matters is what was said.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to just start off with a little bit about your journey and your background?
Yeah, so my background, I was actually born in Georgia, LaGrange, Georgia. When I was about 6 or 7, my family moved to Alabama. Couple of different towns in Alabama, but we kind of landed in Tallahassee, Alabama. And if you're from Alabama, you probably still don't know where Tallahassee, Alabama is. you might live 40 miles from Tallahassee and still don't know where it's at. But it's kind of between Auburn and Montgomery, just a little bit north of Interstate 85, about 10 minutes. But a small town, about 5,000 people. I grew up, went to high school there. Barely graduated because I wasn't really focused, but I did graduate. Neither one of my parents graduated, so that was an accomplishment in itself to graduate high school. But then I joined the Marine Corps, U.S. Marines, and I joined a Desert Warfare Infantry Unit, Reserve Unit out of Montgomery, Alabama. So in late fall of 1987, after graduating high school, I went up to Parris Island to go to boot camp, and then I went to Camp Geiger, North Carolina for infantry school, and happened to meet my bunkmate there, who was from Reeltown, Alabama, a town even smaller than Tallahassee, about 10, 15 miles from Tallahassee. And so we lived close together, but we didn't know each other. And so found out his dad was in manufacturing, a manufacturing supervisor. So when we got out of infantry school, he was also in the reserve unit that I was in. So we went back to the real world, and his dad got me a job and started working in manufacturing. And you'll hear some of those manufacturing stories through these different courses. But for the first 10 years, that's what I did. I did hot, dirty, nasty work, night shifts, after evening shifts, eventually maybe on the day shift on the tail end. But the first 5 to 8 years or so, I was second shift and third shift. And so eventually, though, I started working my way up. I operated a lot of CNC lathes, mills, and drills, gear shapers, broaches, just all kind of equipment, manufacturing metal products. But I started working my way up in the engineering field, in the engineering degrees. I started CNC programming, then I did computer aided design and drafting type stuff. Then I got into process engineering, and during that time I actually went to college. I thought I'd never do. You'll hear some of those stories as well, but thought I never would. Went to college. Took me about 7 years or 8 years to get my 4-year degree, and actually did much better. Graduated with honors there because I actually applied myself, although I was working 6, 7 days a week, 10, 12, 14 hours a day as a single parent, and had to do a lot more applying myself to get those results. So in 2008, I had worked my way up to being the lean manufacturing manager and quality manager for a large manufacturing facility in a $2 billion organization. In 2008, 20 years into my manufacturing career, I resigned and started my own lean manufacturing process improvement consulting business, and did that for 4 years up until 2012. And so from 2005 to 2012, I logged over 11,000 hours leading cross-functional teams through continuous improvement, organizational change, cultural transformation, that sort of thing. 2012, I decided I had enough of that and I wanted to do this. And Ria, a year later, also joined me in doing this around 2013. So that's where we picked up. So since 2012, we've been doing this type content. We've spoken at Yale University. Ria's spoken at the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol. We've spoken for the U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, Auburn University, Chick-fil-A, a lot of different companies, all types of companies, all kind of industries. Some of them white collar, some of them blue collar. So that's a lot of my background, Ria. But we're trying to introduce ourselves to these folks.
Is that a short story or a long story?
That's really short, but it seems kind of long.
So my journey's been a little bit different. I left home at 19. I left behind a father who sexually abused me for years and trafficked me, and a mother who blamed me for it. And I didn't have anything when I left home. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a high school diploma. I'd never been to school. And the only job that I could find after I left home was working as a waitress at Pizza Hut. And back then, we're not going to talk about how long, but it has been a little while ago. But back then, I started out working as a waitress for $2.13 an hour, plus some tips, plus
and
a few
I love
tips.
those leftovers you brought home, Ria.
$2.13 an hour to pick up half-eaten pizza crust off the floor and bus dirty tables. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere, and that's just where I started. But it didn't take me long to realize two things. Number one, that wasn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And number two, the job of my dreams wasn't going to come find me at Pizza Hut. If I wanted life to be different, I was going to have to do something different and go out to make it happen. It wasn't going to happen to me. And so as we go through these online courses, Mack and I will share a lot of the principles and personal growth, leadership, and influence. But, we get excited about teaching these principles because we've lived them and applied them to our lives and gotten results. And that means that you, too, can apply them to your life, your situation, and your circumstances and get results. We don't get excited about them because we read them in a book and they sounded good. We get excited about them because they work. And, the great thing about that is when we can grow ourselves and our level of awareness and our influence with other people, then our life gets better and we get more freedom, we get more options, we get more opportunities. And that's what we want for you.
So I met Ria actually in 2000. And so we've been together. We're recording this video in 2023. So we've been together 23 years now. So, but before I met Ria, I didn't get it so right in my personal relationships. I got it wrong a lot. And you'll hear some of those stories in some of the courses when they fit. Some places they don't fit, some places they do. But I applied it in my personal relationship with Ria, in my marriage. I applied it with my teenage son, who hated me from 15 to 19. But I discovered this type of content we're sharing with you when he was 17. And so 2 years of me working on me, I was able to rebuild that relationship. And then he actually started working with me and started reading all the kind of books Ria and I had been reading. Mm. And the kind of content you're going to learn about, Ria and I we discovered it in 2008. And we've been reading very intentionally since then. I read a little bit every day. Ria reads a lot of books every year. She reads far more books than I do. And she reads every day as well. Something about leadership development, personal growth. So we've been living what we're teaching you and getting results. And my 20 years in my manufacturing career, no leader ever invested 1 penny or 1 minute introducing me to this type of content. When I discovered it and I started sharing it with folks like you, I started getting feedback that, hey, you should share this with everybody. And that was back in 2008. And now, 2023, we've been sharing it with everybody, Ria.
We have. So after I decided I didn't want to stay at Pizza Hut, I had to go get my GED. I had to go to community college and work my way up to find some options and develop some options for myself. So I did go to college, I did get a degree, and then I went back and got another degree, and then I went back and got another degree.
10 years of going to college, I think it was, that you went.
But in any of my courses in college, none of them talked about how to influence people or how to lead other people or lead myself effectively. And so for me, that was really powerful and important to be able to share that, influencing other people isn't a critical skill in life, and we all want more influence. When we think of any time when we're mad or sad or upset or frustrated, I guarantee you it's because you wanted more influence in the situation at home or at work. So I did just continue to progress through my career, and in 2008, I started working in the hospital environment on the administrative side in compliance and regulations, policies and procedures, Medicare appeals, kind of all of the fun federal regulation stuff that nobody wants to do. But I learned more about leadership and influence in that role because I had responsibility
for everything
and making sure that we were compliant with everything. But I didn't have authority over anybody. I couldn't tell anybody what to do. I couldn't make anybody be compliant. So I learned an incredible amount about leadership and influence from that. And I value the lessons throughout my career that have helped me grow.
And it's kind of like my journey in lean manufacturing. I was responsible for process improvement throughout the entire facility, but nobody reported to me, especially as a consultant. I didn't even work in the organization. So I had to indirectly influence the owner of the organization and all the leaders within the organization. So what's that quote from Michael Josephson that we share, Ria?
I love to share Michael Josephson's quote, "You don't have to be sick to get better, because there's nothing wrong with us, there's nothing wrong with you, but we don't have to be sick to get better. And when we get better, our world gets better and our life gets better."
Look for the nuggets that you actually can apply. And do that. I do that. I hear speakers speak that I don't like sometimes, but I still listen for the nuggets. When I find a gold nugget, I stick it in my pocket. Or when I'm reading a book or listening to a podcast. We both have podcasts. We both have newsletters on our LinkedIn social media profile. We put out posts on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, some of the other ones. And so you can go dive in. And it doesn't have to be us. You can go get on YouTube, search up leadership development, personal growth, whatever component of what we're talking about you like, and you can find people. And then you'll find people that you like. You can read books. All of our books are $18. So anything else, Ria, we got for them?
I think you really covered it. We are excited for you and the opportunity that you have to, learn and invest some of your time into these principles and raise your level of awareness. And just like we did, when we applied the principles, we got results. You can apply them to your life and you can get results too.
And the one thing we forgot to mention, or I forgot to mention, was, we both got together. When I met Ria, we were living in Auburn, Alabama. And I had been living there 5 years already. We lived there another 15 years. 2015, we moved over near Atlanta to be near the airport, so we can get a lot of non-stop flights to a lot of places that we're speaking, and also be near a big market. So in 2023, we're living near Atlanta. Don't mean we're going to always be living near Atlanta, but that's where we're at today. And so we hope you find value in this, and talk to you next time.